Dade Phelan's Democrat donor will shock you. It's May 1st, 2024, and these are your headlines. As House Speaker Dade Phelan faces criticism for empowering Democrats in the legislature, his campaign is also benefiting from a Democrat official who the Attorney General attempted to prosecute for campaign finance violations. The campaign finance reports reveal Dade Phelan's campaign received $1,000 in November from Zena Stevens, the Democrat sheriff of Jefferson County. Now, making that contribution even more notable, besides the fact that she is a Democrat, is that Stevens was at the center of a court decision that ultimately stripped the Attorney General of his power to prosecute election fraud. Yes, that same decision. And back in 2018, Attorney General Ken Paxton attempted to prosecute her for campaign finance violations. Paxton initiated the prosecution after local prosecutors turned down the case. Among other violations, Stevens was accused of accepting cash contributions in excess of $100, which is prohibited under the election code. Stevens appealed the indictment, arguing the AG lacked the constitutional authority to prosecute criminal cases. Well, in an 8-1 decision in December of 2021, the All-Republican Court of Criminal Appeals, which is Texas's highest court on criminal matters, said that the state law granting the Attorney General the power to unilaterally prosecute election cases was unconstitutional. They argue the Attorney General is not given the express authority by the Constitution to do so. Well, during the most recent legislative session, legislation to return the power to the Attorney General's office was never given a vote. There is some silver lining here, though. In the March primary, all three Republicans on the court that were up for re-election were defeated in March's primary, with Paxton endorsing their opponents in large part because of their decision in that case. Phelan's campaign did not respond to a request for comment from Texas Scorecard on the donation. Republican attorneys general, that's right, attorneys general, not attorney generals, in multiple states, including Texas and Kansas, are suing to stop the Biden administration from imposing new restrictions on gun rights. Now, Attorney General Paxton was joined by Kansas Attorney General Chris Kobach as they announced the new lawsuits against the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives at a press conference today at the Frisco Gun Club. Aaron Anderson was there reporting. The lawsuits are challenging a new ATF rule that redefines engaged in the business as a firearms dealer. What does this mean? Well, this 126-page rule, it's a lot of rule, would have the effect of criminalizing law-abiding Americans for private gun purchases and sales. The attorneys argue that the rule is unconstitutional because it is vague, violates the Second Amendment, and circumvents Congress. Kobach said the new definition of firearms dealer is too broad and said hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Americans will be defined as dealing in firearms without even knowing it. Both Paxton and Kobach filed coalition lawsuits today. Both groups will seek a preliminary injunction to stop enforcement of the rule while litigation is ongoing. A multi-state coalition of plaintiffs contains many different states in these two different lawsuits, as well as the Gun Owners of America, Gun Owners Foundation, Tennessee Firearms Association, and the Virginia Citizens Defense League.
Is it possible to morph from a hero into a villain? I'm Valerie Munoz. Join me as I introduce you to the most powerful lobbying group in Texas. One that started as a savior, but has become the very thing they were created to destroy. Listen now to Season 7 of Exposed, The Beast of Austin, available wherever you get podcasts.
A new poll released today shows former President Donald Trump and current Senator Ted Cruz, well, they're leading their Democrat challengers among Texas's likely voters. This poll, which was conducted by the University of Texas and the Texas Politics Project, shows that in a five-way ballot, Trump holds a 9-point lead, 45 to 36%, over current President Joe Biden. Other candidates on that trial ballot include Robert F. Kennedy, Cornel West, and Jill Stein. I've never heard of Cornel West. I know Jill Stein, Robert F. Kennedy, of course, but Cornel West. Trump holds an 8-point lead over Biden in a head-to-head contest, though. Likely Texas voters were also asked about the U.S. Senate race between Cruz and his Democrat challenger Colin Allred. The results show that Cruz currently leads Allred 46% to 33%, with 7% preferring an alternative candidate and 15% saying they have no preference. The same poll also asked voters for their approval of various Texas officials. Here are the numbers on those. Governor Greg Abbott, 55% approval with 37% disapproving. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick has a 44% approval with 33% disapproving. Attorney General Ken Paxton, 41% approve, 35% disapprove. And House Speaker Dade Phelan only received a 27% approval rating, while 30% disapproved of the job he has done. So the only one that's actually underwater in those numbers. Not a good sign, especially given that he's in a runoff election right now. Texas voters were also asked about the most important problem facing the state. 39% of voters said immigration and border security are the top issues. 15% said the economy and inflation, and 10% said that political corruption in leadership was the most important problem. For more of today's stories, go to texasscorecard.com.